Here we are back at Northwood today. I finished my conference presentation, and so that means I can get back to my regular scheduled programming. And there's Heather and Risa walking along. Here's today's activities. Just look at the mess in my workshop. This was what happened when I was working on the floor. I didn't have any room to move in here, so it just all piled up. And but I think today is a good cleanup day because Risa's in the house taking care of Heather. They just got back from a walk, and I'm done with my talk. I have nothing else on my agenda really, so that's what's going on there. Have a little peek. Okay, this doesn't look like much, but there is a wooden frame structure underneath there, and then there's 1 inch of expanded foam with a foil top, and then this is the factory plywood floor with some kind of hardcore coating on it. I don't know if it's epoxy or what. So this is a seriously good platform to be building on, and I'm happy to have reached this stage. I'm using this what's called Havelock wool insulation. It's actually natural fiber sheep wool, and because it has lanolin in it, it has some amazing qualities to deal with moisture, which is a big problem in vans. So if you use synthetic insulations, you can have moisture problems, but with that Havelock wool, it manages the moisture. So anyways, that's where I am today. Time to clean up that garage. Okay, here we are. Semi-clean. It's better than it was anyways. I got a lot of the wood cleaned up, and yeah. There's my mother's old wheelchair that we got from the senior center. And yeah, the writing is on the wall. That'll be possibly used by Heather at some point. I hate to think about it, but that's the way it goes. So there are my solar panels and window, and I got a bunch of stuff in the van too. Okay. I think because I don't have a recording of my talk at the Alzheimer's Society, although it might be available later, I think I'm just going to read you what I wrote, and yeah, you can hear it for yourself. So my talk started out with a slide behind me with the word YANA on it, black text on a white background. And so I started out, I said, when I was first asked to speak here, I'll confess I was intimidated because I knew there'd be a room full of experts and academics with decades of experience and knowledge in dementia care. But I heard that a lived experience story is as valuable as anything. So here I am. 3.5 years ago, this wasn't even on my radar. So I've had to jump in with both feet and get up to speed very quickly. YANA is the you are not alone principle. And this is what has sustained me and carried me through and made me capable and able to be a good spousal dementia caregiver to my wife, Heather. So let's set the stage here. Heather doesn't have that kind of dementia where you make cookies and play cards together. Nor does she have that angry dementia where spouses fear for their safety. No, she has the young, aggressive dementia coupled with primary progressive aphasia, where it all happens so fast you can barely catch your breath. 3.5 years ago, she was on top of her game. She was vibrant, fit, and organized. And then in early 2021, she started showing memory lapses, minor language issues, and a few subtle personality changes. And that's when the alarm bells started ringing for me. I felt very alone, not knowing what was going on. Here was my 60-year-old wife changing in front of my eyes. She didn't seem too concerned about it, but I was freaking out. We eventually discussed things in a pretty vague way, and she talked about brain fog. She decided to ramp up her fitness walking and exercise, and she gave up her very occasional glass of wine. So she was trying to make things better. And at some point that summer, I realized that we had to talk to a professional. So I made an appointment with her doctor that was several weeks out. And I also, at that time, I called the Alzheimer's helpline. And with that call, I felt like I had someone who knew exactly what I was going through. And they were there unconditionally and with complete understanding and with good guidance and advice. But the best part that blew me away was when they asked if I would be okay, if it would be okay for them to call me again in a few weeks. I was amazed. And that's when I realized that I didn't have to do it alone and everything was going to be okay one way or the other. Coming up with systems, strategies, and adaptations has helped me to stay on track as Heather evolved to needing full-time care today. She's lost her speech and language. She needs help with all of her personal care and functions. And I've adapted and rolled with these constant changes, trying to stay creative and flexible and recalibrating my expectations. It's like sailing a little boat. You have to keep adjusting the sails and moving the tiller depending on which way the wind blows. I've also always been a very stoic and emotionally level person, and Heather in the past might have called me simple. Well, that's all changed. Now I have big ups and downs, happy and sad times, and I just roll with it when it comes. And as somebody said to me recently, it's okay to not be okay. And I've come up with a number of ways to manage all this new stuff. One of them is my YouTube channel. If you search for my name, you'll find it. And it chronicles our experience. It's a great feeling to share it. I get a lot of positive feedback from you guys all around the world. This is what I told them at the conference. I try to explain and outline some of the ways I'm adapting and I'm coping to be the best caregiver I can be. A lot of it involves maintaining humor and lightness in my days and keeping things as simple as possible. The YouTube channel has been a great way to express myself, and I think it helps others too. I've also availed myself of the many resources available in the community. I signed up for caregiver support groups, again through the Alzheimer's Society. I'm very active online and social media, and have connected with others in similar spousal caregiving situations. And I'm getting support through our Nova Scotia government continuing care caregiver benefit to hire a private helper who comes 4 mornings a week to handle the busy morning shift. We also take advantage of the Northwood Adult Day program, which has been a game changer for us both, and I'll link it down in the description. It allows me to take a breather and recharge my batteries during the week with a few normal activities so I can be a better caregiver the rest of the time. And for Heather, it's also a great social and mental stimulation, and I can't say enough about the program. It's fantastic. I also early on identified what I would call trust circles, and these were my people. One was a bigger circle, the people I talked to and explained what was going on, and they were always been there for me. And they've continued to try to include me in normal activities, even though I can't participate a lot of the time. They've kept that connection, which is wonderful. And the other is a smaller, more intimate circle. And these are my family and friends who can come to the house and take care of business so I can walk out the door and I know that everything's going to be handled. And I don't have a worry in the world. They know me and they'll be supportive in whatever decisions I may have to make in the future, like long-term care. No judgment. So some people in my shoes don't have these supports in place, but by reaching out, everyone can find somebody to step up and help. There's a lot of compassion, caring, and support in the community. And my aim from the start of all of this as a caregiver was to act, be proactive, not to react but to plan and anticipate needs and set up my systems, strategy, tools, and adaptations. And that has helped me to stay on top of my game. And I would say it's been an incredible journey, and it's actually full of purpose and discovery. It's been not positive at all, but it's positive. So even with the constant diet of grief and anxiety and the letting go of dreams of aging together, there's still a silver lining there somewhere. Heather and I have been together for 46 years. That's a long time. And even though she's lost her speech and language, we still communicate on some other level. We'll share a private glance or some little expression that we've shared as an inside joke over decades. And it's on a level that doesn't require speech. It's because of these things that I hope to keep her home as long as possible. I feel like keeping her home is a richer experience than having her in a facility. And maybe I'm also being a little selfish because it's about my interests, having her with me too. So I'll try to find a balance. Okay, now we get to the meow meow part. Meow meow and caregiving. Months ago, when I was getting Heather ready for bed, she was sort of blubbering and crying as she did every night. And I'm guessing it's rooted in confusion and the inability to understand speech. Maybe my words sounded garbled to her in her brain. I don't know. So I'm trying to get her pajamas on. I'm saying, lift your foot, sit down, and so on. None of it's getting through. I could feel my frustration building, and I saw she was getting more upset. And we're just feeding into each other. And this is snowballing. And nothing is going to work out the way we wanted. So at that point, eureka! A little switch went off, and I realized I had to flip the script somehow. So I stopped fussing, I sat down, and I turned to her, and I took her face in my hands. I said, honey, you know, this isn't good for you, and it's not good for me. It's frustrating, and we're both upset. How about instead of crying, we say meow meow instead? And she looked at me with tears in her eyes, and she gave a little meow meow in the midst of the crying. And the crying started to turn to laughter, and we repeated meow meow back and forth. And it's totally silly. It's simple, but I can't recommend it enough. That's been my prescription. So remember, when the going gets tough, the tough go meow meow. And I'm going to finish with a couple of quotes that people have shared with me. Don't set yourself on fire to keep someone else warm. You're not a 7-Eleven. You can't be open 24 hours a day. So that's YANA and Meow Meow to you. That was my talk. So I hope you found that interesting. So here we are winding down our afternoon. Heather's watching Game of Thrones. And her hair is all done by Risa. Beautiful hair, honey. And there's Penny. And that's it for today. So stay strong. You're not alone. YANA and fist bump.